Hey guys, good morning or whatever time it is for you. I just woke up a little while ago at this rest stop that I slept at last night. Did a little meditating. Stood up for myself a little bit in a conversation, which felt good. It always feels good for like us people pleasers when we just are empaths, when we just want to make sure everyone else is okay. Sometimes you feel like that. I don't know, to me it feels like it comes up the central channel, this kind of protector energy. It's not like you're trying to hurt the other person and you're not trying to hit them energetically, but you're just trying to like stand for like, hey, I'm not your energetic dumpster where you just dump all of your repressed junk, just because I'm whatever you perceive me to be. So that felt good. Did it in a way I was like, hey, I just need to be real here. But everyone's entitled to how they feel. And I never want to invalidate how someone feels. But at the same time, it's like, it's nice to have boundaries around that too. Like your own boundaries. What else? I'm just using this as these last few videos have been they felt more like meditations, and that's what this one's feeling like. Just trying to slow down, kind of get in my body more. I've really let my ego die recently, which is really beautiful because then I can just share more freely because there's not an ego layer here. It feels like I'm more clear. I'm not trying to guard anything or uphold anything, and sometimes we don't even know we're doing that. It's very unconscious, and we do it from a sense of like we're just trying to stay safe or protected, and that can be totally fine too. And then we just get to a point where we're like, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. It feels too constricting. And so I feel like I'm in this new layer of kind of self or reality that's just much more raw and open, and there's like a power in that, a strength in that of like, you have to be connected to your true self, I think, to really just let everything be seen, or to not try to guard or anything. It's like you have to really know who you are. It's like if you're not identified with ego, then you can just kind of be a lot more willing to just, share from a very true place. Because your true self doesn't have judgment. It's not condemning. If you still have a strong inner critic, it can be very hard to be so open because you're so critical of yourself and you'll fear what others will think of you. If you have like a shaky sense of, like if you have some deep insecurity, wounds, it can be scary. But once you really start healing a lot of that and you really start getting more empty and more in touch with your true nature, then it's hard for you to believe what other people's negative projections and perspectives of you might be. It's hard to and it's hard to believe positive ones too. It's hard to believe anything about yourself. There's this, you feel like more of this ungraspable nature come up where you're not going to grab on or believe anything about yourself or another in a way. From that like egoic perspective. I don't know if any of this is making sense. I had no idea I was going to say this. This is just whatever's happening these days. I like to document my journey and share the personal stuff because that, from that place, can birth insight and can birth flow. It feels good to be free being free feels better than anything else. Being free feels better than any type of validation or external praise or love you could ever get, ever. Being free is the whole thing. It's the best thing ever. Yeah. I would say just live in a way that helps you to be free, whatever that is for you. If I had any advice, I'm still very young in a sense, and I have a lot of growth to do, and I'm still going through my own, growing pains for sure. I'm having some intense growing pains right now, actually. Actually, I had to ask for help yesterday in a way that I never do. And it felt so good. I actually was suffering so much living in my car. I finally got to this point where I was like, something has to change. I have to do something different. But nothing was feeling true. There was just one kind of thought that kept arising in my consciousness, which was to ask a certain person if I could come visit them to rest and restore. But that felt so out of character for me because I never do that. I only kind of go places where I'm invited because that feels safer to me. That feels less vulnerable. But there was nothing that was feeling true to go do. But I knew I had to get out of the car. I was like, this has to end, like living in the car. I've done it many times and I'll probably do it again maybe. But for me, I reach a certain point where I'm like, okay, the body needs something different. Like I have to honor the body at this point. It's been fun. Matthew's been on his little hero's journey in the car again and like warrior mode and really testing himself and expanding his capacities and strengthening in all these different ways. And it's been its own little container of growth and expansion. And it's literally broke me apart. It like broke me open to where I can just start. Sometimes it just like breaks me open living in the car to where it's like, I start suffering so deeply, like, fuck it. That kind of comes over me, like, fuck it, nothing to lose. And it can be a really beautiful thing. And it always deepens my presence. Because when you're suffering, like it's a constant drip, like you tap water drip. It's like that's the kind of suffering living in for me. Some people just might love it and they're just like, how could you suffer? It's the best thing ever. Great. Happy for you. For me, it's just like this constant low-grade suffering that accumulates over the days to where at a certain point, it's just like, oh, it's so rough. But through that, to be okay in it, I do have to like constantly keep my focus on God and my focus on presence itself and my focus on more resource from within. And then I have to do a bunch of other things to take great care of myself to compensate for living in the car. Like towards the end there, I was doing like an hour or two of yoga every day. It's like we're just doing a bunch of yoga, sitting in nature for very long periods of time. Dyads, I always do dyads. They're the bee's knees. And I think one of the reasons that I could ask for help yesterday from a place where it felt true, the most true, it was like the only, at a certain point, also when you get to a certain depth, there only feels like one choice ever. I think before it felt like, oh, there's someone here choosing and I've got all these options and I'm going to choose that one. And it feels like you have personal agency in it and you made the choice. But as you deepen and you lose layers of what you perceive to be you, at least in my experience, it doesn't feel like there's much of a chooser here anymore. And it doesn't feel like there's many choices. Even though on paper, there's like probably 8 different places I could go, like on the surface level, if we wrote them all out or something. At a certain depth, it genuinely feels like there are no more choices. You're just doing this. You're going this way now. That's how it feels to me. All the ones that felt like they were like the choosers, they just kind of dissolve and you just kind of merge and you're one with what is and what was always going to happen in this lifetime or something. And it just doesn't feel like you're making choices anymore. It just feels like you're breathing love into the one that is resisting life. That's a massive switch. And there's a lot of exhaustion that comes from like thinking you're the one who has to choose and deliberating and going back and forth and overanalyzing and all of this. So there's a lot more freed up energy to just breathe the love into the one that's resisting life's natural movement. And then you can like let go of all the blame and the judgment of the self that thinks it keeps choosing wrong, or if it's choosing right. It's like, no. There's none of that. It's just life's moving, life's living you. And you just show up with compassion and love for yourself, and you do the best you can with it, with whatever's happening. That's at least what it feels like in my body over time as I've dissolved layer after layer after layer. Just like, nope, things are just happening. So yeah, I think it's actually because I have been doing dyads and getting more free in this relational field with other people that I had the inner freedom to reach out to this person that I feel very energetically close with. And we've shared that with each other. And it kind of feels like home when you feel that energetic closeness. And I think my body was just craving home in that way, you know, like home. I need to, like, literally recharge, regroup in a place that feels like home. And so it was so interesting. I was like, this is so new for me. I don't do this. But at the same time, it was gonna happen. Like, it was happening. It was the only choice, quote unquote, the only choice. And I remember just reaching out to this person and just asking for what I wanted. Like, I just want to come, you know, visit you and rest and recharge. And I kind of wrote some other stuff. But what I noticed was right after I sent it, I immediately felt, I don't know, 1,000 pounds lighter. You can't quantify it in pounds, how much lighter I felt. But just energetically, I felt, relief. So much lighter. And then they responded really quickly, like, I would love to help you on your journey. Please come and visit it whenever you're able. And it was nice just to let myself receive that support. And I think that's dyads too. They can help you in relationship, like, you can receive support easier. And they just, my life's changing. It's a lot different. Getting in front of the camera on a day like today and speaking is different, and just letting it flow. And I just feel like so much less judgment towards myself, so much less shame. And it's a really beautiful thing. And all I've ever wanted is to be free, I think, more than I've wanted to be liked or loved or anything, because those things are also transient. External love and like people, it's just transient. The only love that's real is God's love. And just, I think something here has just been seeking that, has been pursuing that. And it's that feeling and that sense is just growing and growing and growing. And that's nice. And that's beautiful, because it's like, that's all. I don't know if I want to say that's all that's needed, because we're in these human bodies. And for me, I think there's some level of real connection that's needed too. Support for the body, shelter, these kinds of things. I don't want to bypass that stuff or overlook it, but on the deepest level, I feel like God's love is a real solution to so much, to so many of our problems. Because without God's love, I don't think I have the inner love and compassion for myself to ask for help where I actually want to receive it, where it felt true to ask. And so, yeah, I'm on this stage of the journey now. And that's the thing, is I don't know how this will go. I don't know. That's kind of at a certain point, life starts to feel like that too. It's like, I don't know, but it's going to keep moving, and things will keep unfolding, and things will keep manifesting exactly how they're meant to. And you just are on this ride. And sometimes the ride is really beautiful, and you're in Florida next to the ocean, and your love is your heart is just exploding with love, and you're in a bliss realm, and you're just like, can barely move. You're in so much bliss, and it's just incredible. And sometimes you're in the back of your car, suffering your ass off, not sure what the fuck to do. Nothing's appearing for you that feels true. And you're just getting broken and broken and broken and broken down until finally something breaks open enough to where you can do something you've never done before. You can do something different. And sometimes that's just what life needs to do for us, for us to become a different type of person, as it just breaks us down and breaks us down and breaks us down. As the great Craig Holliday told me once, and I'll leave you with this: when the Divine Mother is trying to break us down, she's trying to break us down. I totally fucked that quote up. God damn it. He said something so beautiful to me on retreat. It's like, when she's breaking us down, she's breaking us down. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, she doesn't fuck around when she's trying to break us down. Like, she's doing the damn thing. And it can feel like it's happening against you and to you instead of for you. But I promise, at least in my experience, it always is happening for you, for your highest good, for your highest evolution. You're just breaking open, and she's breaking you down so you can break open into more of what you really are, which is light and love, peace. So yeah, let's see how the journey goes today. Try to stay in touch, keep being real. I don't know. That's the thing, when you don't have so much shame, you can share from more places. It's really nice. But I love you guys so much. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for subscribing to the Patreon. Those two things really support me and help me. And I just love that support from you guys. And I just want to say I appreciate you. Namaste.